Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SETI Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I am your host, Daniel Prue, and joining me, as always, are my two good buddies, Darren and Philip. Hey, guys, how was your week this week? Anything exciting happen?
Not super exciting, but I did finish Season 1 Enterprise. So, you know, it's one of those things where I'm sure if I was a purist, you stop at Season 1, you know, because I take a break between seasons. But, like, it's a two-parter, so I'm like,
I'm not summer break?
Yeah. No, like a week or two, just to let it sink in. But, like, it was a two-parter, so I'm like, well, I'm going to watch the second part, you know. And then, so
what's the
Shockwave? It is when Daniels takes Archer into the future, and then you show the destroyed whatever, I forget where Daniels is from, 28th century, whatever he's from.
32nd. Well, maybe not.
And then the Suliban are firing on Enterprise, and that's more or less it. And so,
wow, that's the end of Season 1 hanger? Wow.
So
I forgot how much they doubled down on the Time War in Season 1.
Yeah. And it's because you didn't sort of have, cool effect for, you know, what passes, because in that sort of part 2, because how can Archer get back? All the technology's been destroyed, and they figure out a way. But then you sort of get, I forgot the bad guy's name, Selleck? Anyway, whatever his name is, trying to contact Future Guy, and it ends up being Archer who comes in through that way. So it's kind of a cool effect. But then, of course,
I'm kind of upset we never figured out who Future Guy was.
Who was Future Guy?
Really, like, you know, put it in a stinger at the end of the 4th season. Whatever, I don't care. Just tell us who he was.
You know, sort of like that voiceover. I don't know. There's a Simpsons episode. It's sort of a Lord of the Rings parody where all the kids get stuck on an island. At the end, they're like, and, you know, voiceover, and the kids got rescued by, I don't know, let's say Mo. You know, and so that's sort of like at the end of Enterprise, Future Guy was, I don't know, let's say, you know,
Travis.
This guy. Yeah, it was Travis.
Oh, I did watch. I was trying to think. I did watch a new episode. Oh man, blanking on the title, but it's the DS9 one where Worf goes on trial for shooting at the civilians. I just came across, like, usually what will inspire me to watch an episode is I'll see like a little clip or a GIF of it, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that was a good episode, and I'll cue it up and watch like the whole thing. But man, that's such a good, like, that courtroom scene. I mean, Worf's not doing a whole lot. It is definitely being carried by the prosecutor, and he is just amazing. But is a really, like, I'll put it right up there. I almost thought of starting like a mini rewatch of like all the trial episodes. So like Menagerie, you know, the court martial,
Encounter at Farpoint.
That counts.
Yeah, I was thinking more like Drumhead and Measure of a Man. So
What about from Voyager?
Devil's Due.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So there's
Voyager. You have
Death Wish.
Death Wish would be Voyager.
That's
with
right.
Q.
That's right. So man, it's all those lawyers are happy with Star Trek. They got so many great episodes to watch. But this one in particular was really good, and I liked. It was just interesting. One, I was kind of having 90s whiplash from watching Picard and then watching like something from not a totally different time, but just the way they told the story, because it is all flashback as the witnesses are giving their testimony. So it'll start with Quark, where he's like looking at the camera saying, well, it was a normal day here at Quark's, and you know, Morn was sitting at the table, or was it Dahlia? And he's like trying to, and it keeps changing. And then the prosecutor's like, just move on. It doesn't matter who is sitting there. And then they do the whole joke of like, and then Morn said, I don't care anymore. Just keep going. Like, you know, we got this close to Morn talking. Of course we did. But yeah, they all start like that with the flashbacks or the testimonies, I should say. And I'm like, okay, that's clever. That's a clever
good
way
version.
of doing it.
Not that I'm saying it's bad, but it's not great. Of A Matter of Perspective, the TNG, where
that's another
competing
good one.
holodeck versions.
Oh yeah. I like the scene in that episode where Cisco's talking to the Klingon prosecutor, and they're basically just talking about their different viewpoints, like different philosophies on the law and stuff like that. And he's like, to him, it's like a sort of like a battle, basically, essentially a battle for truth. And I just thought it was just a good scene.
Well, and then what you think of like, oh, I can relate to that, but then the Klingon is like, no, like truth doesn't matter. Like winning is truth. I'm like, okay, well, that's not quite what we believe, but I can kind of see that, like,
ish. Anyway,
but that was fun, and I love
favorites. Go ahead.
Oh, good. I was just gonna say the very end is my favorite part, though, where Worf's kind of like sulking, and Sisko's like, "Oh, you should come to the party," and then Sisko closes the door, like, "Okay, I'm gonna ream you now for like what you screwed up on." He's like, "What was your first mistake?" And he's like, "I should not have accepted the assignment." He's like, "That's right." And what was your second mistake? He's like, "I should have checked the target before firing." He's like, "You're damn right, you should have." It's like, "Oh, here comes Avery. Here comes Avery." And man, he was, but I mean, he was right. And
well, I was about to say, I really like that scene because I in my little YouTube collection, that scene alone, because especially for Worf, and then for someone who's very command red that I am, Worf is like, "Oh, life is very different in this red uniform," and Sisko's like, you'll at the end of it, you'll wish you'd gone to botany,
Yeah. And Keiko sticks her head around, "Hey," yeah, but and then. And I keep thinking though, like, but Worf, you already were in Command Red, like long time ago. But
yeah, Lieutenant Red. That's still...
yeah, that's not really command,
What
it's
other
like Boimler
thing,
level.
Well, one other thing I'd been doing, I haven't listened in a little while, but have either of you been listening to the new Investigates episodes by the Gates McFadden podcast? Really good. Oh my gosh. This new season has been amazing, and I'm just pulling up some of her interviewees. So she did one. So season 2 is what she's calling it. It started in February, but she had William Shatner on, and that was really interesting. I'm currently listening to the Tawny Newsome one, which is really cool.
Lower decks.
Yeah, and it's just, Gates is an amazing interviewer. Like, she really is. Like, she asks questions. You're like, oh, I wouldn't have thought to ask that. And it just, it takes it in a way I never expect it to. And then I've started listening to the Kate Mulgrew, but she's also interviewed Jack Quaid, Boimler, Rosalind Chow, who is Keiko. And her newest one is John Billingsley. So I'm like, oh man, I got to listen to all these. Like, just her interview style is just really unique. And I think she just extracts these interesting tidbits out of these people. Not just like, oh, let's talk about Star Trek, but obviously that's a big part of it. So
I recommend it. And I can't remember why I was even looking for it or stumbled upon it online, but it was, it was from some like one of those Trek sites, where it's usually I'd be like, who cares what they have to say? But it was from John Billingsley was being quoted. And so, it's legitimate and it's his quotes. But it was basically him reflecting on season 3 of Enterprise and him saying how he wasn't a fan of how things went, of how obviously you show, it's like, this is not what he said, but it's like, I don't know if y'all remember, we're all old enough here. Remember the show 24? And that was kind of like that vibe. And he's like, that's kind of how season 3 of Enterprise was going. He's like, that's not really what I thought of Trek. And so having Archer go to that extreme of like torturing people. And now, you can argue narratively that's, was reflecting the culture, as 24 did as well. But anyway, it was just an interesting kind of thought from him of like, I was glad, it's like, he didn't say this, but he's like, I'm a 1-2-4 guy,
I'll have to give that a listen. I have never checked that out, but it sounds like a good podcast. I have crossed over from season 5 to season 6 of Deep Space Nine, and the Cardassians and the Dominion have taken over the station, and Sisko left his baseball.
I love that two-parter. so good.
It's pretty awesome
it's like,
stuff.
Why did he leave this year? It's like, it's a message.
Yeah, so we're in the parts where everybody's crammed onto the Defiant except for Kira and Odo, and Jake, I guess. And it's good stuff, really, really good stuff. So they just got on the Dominion, the Jem'Hadar ship, the one they stole, and they're off to adventures. So really
No chairs, no view screen,
no replicators. Yep,
no replicators. Yeah,
I remember the I don't know if you've gotten this episode yet, but it was that they're in the Jem'Hadar ship. And I forget even what happens, but blah, blah, blah. End of the episode, they're crippled. We only have impulse power. Like, it'll take us 75 years to get back to the... And like the next episode, we fix it. It's fine. I'm like, what? That was I thought you were doing like a little Voyager thing for at least an episode or two. But no? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the next episode. But
yeah, they end up crashing, I think. And then it's one of those, like, the injured Vorta is with a group of Jem'Hadar. The Vorta is going to betray the Jem'Hadar to get out of there, but they already know about it, but they're more honorable, and they end up all dying. So
make friends with the Jem'Hadar. Yeah.
So, yeah, sort of like that.
And that's an interesting, just briefly, and again, DS9, not my favorite, but I like what they do, because that type of episode's like, these Jem'Hadar are just like mindless, but then what if we understood them?
What if Jem'Hadar had honor?
What is their perspective on things? And I mean, then that's the DS9 strength, and which would do well in other shows where it's just like, here's a bad guy. Like, well, tell us more about this bad person. What are they all about?
They were tortured by Starfleet. Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Well, speaking of Dominion, it's Deep Space Nine, Dominion, and then this episode of Star Trek Picard, which is called Dominion, which I would argue, I would contest, had nothing or little to nothing to do with the Dominion, but that's okay. They were referenced, I suppose. So, anyways, this episode is called Dominion. How do we want to handle this? Let's just talk about. Man, I don't want to jump right into the thick of it. So you know what? Here we go. Tuvok. We see Tuvok.
Yeah, the infamous spoilery Tuvok of Ready Room fame. Because, man, that's all I heard about that day was people saying, dang it, Star Trek, why are you posting pictures and titles of why are you giving away this, like, before I've even had a second to watch the show?
Oh, did they spoil it?
Yeah.
They just
because he was the guest on the Ready Room. And so so as soon as the episode drops, they're advertising the Ready Room. And it's like, but there's no chance to watch it. So I don't know the solution to that problem. It seems to be a problem now of official sources wanting to promote the show, but the way they promote it gives away key plot points. So I don't know how you solve that, but
I got the, and again, I prefer obviously not to be spoiled. I know, we have the spectrum here. Daniel doesn't give 100% can be spoiled about anything. I would prefer 0%. And then I'm sure Darren, you're in the middle. And so I usually don't watch Picard till late. In this country, it comes out on Friday. I usually don't watch till Sunday to get ready because I have to record this podcast. But anyway, it's just I don't feel the rush. But then people are like, because obviously in America it comes a day before, but it's like, oh, people are like 12:01, like, oh, I'm like, come on. I mean, and like this is a very William Shatner SNL quote, but like, have a life, people. Like, I mean, like, I have be a fan, and that's fine. But like, majority of people are not going to watch until normal evening hours.
That's the interesting thing of like. Not just Star Trek, but like Star Wars right now. Oh my gosh. Like all the Star Wars shows that are airing right now. It's like nobody cares. It's like we crossed some threshold and just collectively enough people are just like, I just don't care if I spoil it. It's more important that I'm first posting about something. And it's just so I just stay off the internet, which is, I know I'm able to, because I know some people who like their job is heavily connected with social media and they don't have a choice, but just how it goes.
I'm usually pretty good, and I have the vibes are usually like, be aware of this episode. I've like they've done that the past 2 or 3 weeks where it's like, be aware, and I saw it for this one, in the first couple seconds, and I was actually pretty good. I mean, because I choose who I follow, and it's usually I don't follow spoilerly people, but then I forget it was Facebook, and it was a British person that Friday had made some meme where it was like the opening title and it showed Tuvok. I'm like, well, geez, what the? Okay. Now, I suppose the defense wasn't Tuvok. So you're not spoiled.
I was going to say, I was going to say that.
True.
I was like, he's only in it for 2 minutes and it's not really him. So maybe that's why. But no, of
Yeah,
course.
but you can understand. I mean, it's Tim Russ
I know,
still,
I'm kidding.
and you know,
yes.
people are like, "Oh, who's this?" It's a Voyager cast member, and all of that. Like, it's like them spoiling, you know, "Oh, here's Janeway in this episode." Like then it'd be like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, because everybody's wanting that. They're like, I see all these posts saying, "You've mentioned her enough. We need to see her." I'm like, okay,
It's interesting. It's
She's
just
going to be in the finale, right? I mean,
She has to be.
I have to assume.
At this point.
I have to assume.
They mention her so much.
Picard isn't giving a speech, so she's got to step in and give the speech. You
Well,
just know.
here's what I'm thinking, right? Because they keep saying that Starfleet is compromised at the highest level. That's what they keep saying, and they keep on referencing Janeway as sort of this. She must be something, right? Like important. Obviously, she's important, but like there's got to be some connection. I feel like either she turns out to be a changeling, or she's aware of what's going on, but she's like. I don't know, but she's definitely got to be connected, and she's definitely got to be in the last episode at least. I think so.
and then when we see her, she'll be surrounded by these kids in the background who are
No puppies. She'll have
live
lots of
action
puppies.
prodigy. Anyway,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
She's at her dog ranch in Montana or something.
So during the time that this show is very, very, very obvious about its references and its fan service because they literally play the Voyager theme song when she's talking to the Tuvok.
second time. I mean, because we got it last week with the Voyager, which was made sense.
It's with the Voyager. It's like, what do you not? If you're going to play the theme song, that is the time to play the theme song.
But this music was lies because you know you gleaned like, oh, they're trying to detect whether it's Tuvok, and they ask a question. It's like, oh, it is him, and then like she's like, oh, I'll ask this question, and music swells, pass the test. The next one, no, he didn't. I'm like, well, what was the music for? That was
So the first time she's like, oh, do you remember when we used to play Kolto? And I'm like, that is such a blatant and obvious like I feel like the changeling should be able to lie his way through this, and he does, of course, because it's like, oh, we were stuck together for 6 years on a ship together. Of course, you probably interacted at some point, probably did something. That's like so generic of a question. That's why I actually like what happened next was when she said a much more specific scenario that the real Tuvok
She purposely let him let his guard down. Like, I'm going to act like it worked, and then I'm going to hit you with the real question.
Yeah. So I did like that, and I also liked that this changeling was acting like a changeling and using his changeling abilities to changeling into other people.
Yeah.
I'm like, finally,
psychological warfare right there.
This is why they're dangerous. It's not because they're just gooey. Like whatever. This is what they should have been doing the whole time. But so Tuvok. Anything else to say about Tuvok?
Captain Tuvok. Apparently.
Captain Tuvok, yeah.
Of the USS Voyager. It's really weird. He was sitting on that museum ship the whole time. We didn't even realize. Going nowhere, doing nothing.
What was his ship called?
I don't. Was he even on a ship?
I think he was at a desk. I don't think it was implied he was on a ship.
Was he wearing red? Again, he
was wearing red.
It goes. It's dark and I can't see, but it's dark and I can't see.
Because you can't be a captain without being in red. Like,
God forbid.
That's kind of a thing. Yeah.
So the other part of the scene, the other piece of information that we got, seems to imply that they are keeping him as a prisoner or something. That's what they suggested, anyways. So,
well, they're collecting captains. So they got Captain Riker, Captain Tuvok.
It makes sense, though, because if you're going to have a changeling walk around impersonating Tuvok, you can't have real Tuvok also come around the same corner.
Well, no, but like historically, what they would do is go and kill the person. I guess the only time that they didn't would have been Gowron, right?
I guess it's to gather information, so that way.
I guess that makes sense. That's fine.
It's basically being a changeling is like being in a sitcom because like they'll ask you a question you don't know. You'll be like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom, and then you go to the bathroom. By the way, so the question was, can you tell me that? Okay, I'll go right back. Oh yeah.
Well, then what about this? It's acting up again. I got to go back to the bathroom.
Drop my fork. Let me go get a clean one.
Or he puts his finger to his ear and he's like, I don't know when was my mom's birthday?
Wait, so you're asking me Tuvok when my mother's birthday was on my father's side. Let me think
Interesting
about
story.
that.
Let me go check my thing that's in the
See, I thought, I mean, I liked, like you said, Daniel, how it was like the second question that was the gotcha. But at first I thought when Tuvok's like, oh, we played and you've beaten me many times. I'm like, wait, Seven's beaten Tuvok? Like something tells me Tuvok is the undefeated champion of Calto, but maybe not.
Well, because I think I can remember that literally happening where like he was playing Harry and then Seven just did the move to end it.
Oh, yeah.
But it does make me kind of, and I know this is a quibble. It would have been interesting if what she tripped him up on was something we knew.
Right.
So it's, kind of like the murder mystery, like, oh, that's the clue. But she's like, oh, because of the, and I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay.
I assumed that was a reference to a specific episode. Is it not? I just, it's been so long since.
It was just something like
Did he never mind
or something, logic extremist. I don't know.
Well,
he said that he mind melded with her to stabilize her jiggly bits or whatever. Whatever it was.
Her
I thought it was a reference.
Yeah, and that did happen. And that's what she zings him on, is she's saying, it happened on Voyager in the Delta Quadrant, not at this, a place of Vulcan atrocities planet that I'm listing, that of course you wouldn't want to go there.
That was so weird. She says that there was Kolinar demonstration.
I think what they should have done, I think this is the missed opportunity, is they should have said, we'll go to Pajem.
Oh, okay.
Because we like, in my mind, that name means something because of Enterprise and their disgrace of having a spying station looking at the Andorians.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And I'm like, but see, so like Philip was saying, or maybe you were, Daniel, but like it's making a connection that we the fans know, so we can see the trip up.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that's what they did, but I just assumed I didn't.
Yeah, maybe if they did. It's just if they did, they buried the lead too much.
Yeah.
No, there was a line, and I wish it's half joking, half serious, where when they discovered Tuvok and they closed the channel, whatever. And I don't know if it's Shaw or someone else says, oh, we can't keep doing this. It makes me think, have they just been contacting every person we've ever seen in Star Trek? Like, all right, try Harry Kim. Okay, try the holographic doctor. Okay, try Barclay. Like, they've just been, 15 calls that we've seen. They've all been changelings.
It seems that, I mean, they definitely alluded to that, I think, because Geordi's like,
I think
can't
so
keep
too.
doing this.
Yeah.
He's like, so I feel like
they're trying to get a foothold. They're trying to find a person they can talk to that is not compromised, and it's not going very well.
Right.
I like your idea of the doctor, though, because it's like, how do you do the test? Well, phase your arm through that table. It's like, try to do that, changeling,
And I like they call the doctor, and it is him. He passes the test, and he's like, oh, you probably called me first. You're like, oh, you were like the 26th person.
Yes, doctor.
Wonder what well, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's stick with, because we're not going to do this chronologically. There's no reason to do that. Let's stick with the changeling stuff because there's a lot there. We'll say that. First of all, I want to say let's stick with let's talk about whatever her name is, Vadic. Let's talk about Vadic. We have confirmation. She herself is full changeling. We learn that in this episode. So now my only theory, because we get to see the hand changeling again. Whatever, like she maybe she's like a pirate changeling, and that's what's going on. I don't know. Anyways, my theory is that has to be just a small, like a second smaller changeling. That's I just like, because she is a changeling, right? We see her origin story. She was in the tube.
I still think it's a way of their mini link of communicating with like the others in a way, and it's more visualized for us, the viewers, to see.
I mean, if they have some sort of like holographic communicator, that's how you know.
But if they're already linked
in a circle, maybe it could be where the
yeah.
But if they're already linked the entire time, like she's always with him, like that little baby changeling thing. I don't know, man. It just
I guess my 2 cents, and I don't care. I mean, this isn't a major complaint because goodness knows they do a lot of work. But like, if I had to critique it, it's not the best looking effect in the world.
It's weird, isn't it?
I would argue, like, for the amount of time you'd have to put into that, you could just do a voiceover. Like you just see her like, her eyes go wide or something and you hear another voice, like that's not doing it what you're trying to do. I mean, there's other ways that could have been looked better, but that's
true.
Whatever.
I guess maybe because of the earlier episodes where she cut off her hand and like it's again trying to be the mystery of like, oh, what is that and why did she do that, and instead of just, oh, she instantly has a connection with other changelings, she's obviously a changeling.
Well, that happens in this episode too.
Right.
Just doesn't cut the arm
He does
off,
come back and starts yelling at her, and she's all meek and weird again. Like he's in control of her to some degree.
Is he the anti-Zordon?
I don't know what.
Well, okay, so they describe what's happened to these test tube changelings, and it makes me think that. So one of them was given the extra powers and abilities and all of that stuff, started looking more meaty and less gooey. And then they merged with the other changelings, gave them that power as well. And then one of them, so again, I'm assuming it's how we talk about an individual with the changelings, because they kind of allude to like there is no real individuals. So I think the face is supposed to represent the collective will of this cell of changelings, and then one of them chose to become what's her name? Vadic, and so she's on the Vadic mission, but in a way she's kind of disconnected from the link because she's being in this solid form, being Vadic and going after Jack Crusher.
But okay,
yeah.
Okay. First of all, let's talk about that. Let's talk about because when she starts talking, when she starts describing,
she has nothing but talking in this episode.
Yes, that's very true. She got a very long monologue. So when she starts talking, she's talking about the disease.
Right.
Okay. So and then they start showing flashbacks. So that made me think that she was part of the testing of the disease, but that's not the case, right?
I mean, it could have
Apparently
been.
not.
She was a POW, basically.
Right,
Her and the test tube changelings.
But they start talking about Project Proteus, which is a different thing. Which
Yes.
this is like super assassin.
That's the make the what's it called? Manchurian Changelings.
Yeah,
Episode title.
I mean, whatever. And this is going to be a Philip problem. I have a problem with that as a concept. Not that I don't think Section 31 does stuff, but that this is a premise of Picard is like, okay, I'm not down with that as Starfleet, but whatever. I'm going to go over it because that's a me problem. But then the second effect, if this is during the Dominion War, and maybe I have a failure of imagination here, but like we have our greatest threat, we have POWs, if you want to call them that. Let's make them super. No, leave them alone. What are you talking? This is not the time. Even if I buy into the idea, I'm not doing it now. We're going to do it after the war. Put them in deep freeze. When the war is over, then we can do Changeling Super Soldier. Not during the war that we're fighting.
Yes. So that was my biggest problem. Was it was unclear that if she was a victim of just the development of the end of the disease and the cure, but also. It's like
that'd be interesting if that was true.
I thought that'd make more sense. Like this, then it would literally be the sins of the Federation that caused her. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense because you know what?
That would make sense. Like one little change of it's not we're trying to make changing super soldiers. It's this is the side effect of us trying to create the disease.
Yeah,
and then you could it would almost be a Locutus guilt. Not saying that excuses anything she's done, but that it's Locutus guilt that she, against her will, was made the
instrument of the destruction of her people.
Yeah, exactly. And so that would be more because I guess
that would make a lot more sense.
I don't know, because this episode,
and then it becomes less Section 31-y and more like the Federation's back was against the wall. Do we agree with the choice of the disease? No. But this is another consequence of when you break your own morals to win a war. This is a byproduct of that choice,
which is a big theme of the episode that Beverly and Picard have a whole conversation about it. Beverly has a whole conversation about biological weapons. Like it fits so well, and then they threw in this weird super changeling nonsense, which I agree with Philip. Like philosophically, is really icky and doesn't fit with the Federation, and then also just makes it more complicated. Like why not just they experiment on us. That's how they created the disease, and we because of that we have these weird changeling defects or whatever, and like now I have revenge feelings and I want to murder all you solids. Like that makes total sense.
And again, it kind of makes me think of the Voyager episode with that little mini collective that Seven accidentally created, and they're all going insane because they hate being in a mini collective. And I thought that they were gonna go that direction of like, we can't rejoin the link, like we've been damaged, and so we are in our own mini collective trying to survive in a mini link. But they're just like, because imagine to a changeling that you've experimented on to make a virus, and because of that, they can't rejoin the link, which is literally the number one thing they want to do as a changeling, period. Like that's called motivation.
And that works out really well, yeah.
Because I'm when the episode started, maybe the first 15 or 20 minutes, it was so Vadic focused. It did get me thinking, like, why does she look like this? Like, why would a changeling choose to look like this? Like, why would you I want to scar my character? Like, why? That doesn't make any sense. Because I guess with that earlier part when she was talking with Zordon, and you could see her smoothness, and I was like, well, why would you choose that? And then that episode answered that question that I immediately had. There's a reason why she chose this person. I was like, oh, well, that answers, because then I got to think about, changelings, especially Daniel, where you are in DS9, not many of them can do perfect. They all look like female changeling or Odo. Not many of them can do the perfect solid.
Well, they can. They're just not, when they're doing just gooey people, they just turn into... Yeah, but so the thing is too, like that, everything we just talked about is a perfect follow-up story for Cisco, not Picard, right? That's like perfect motivation. Like this lady should be going after Jake, and why is when she's telling Picard her motivation, it's like he had nothing to do with this. He wasn't even around. They were off in the briar patch. Like I get it. Like she might have like a general.
We still don't quite get the piece of why Jack Crusher is important. Even as much as they explained in this episode, we still don't know why he is important.
Yeah,
well, they tease it at the end. But
yeah, I get, because that's where I was. It turns into, it depends how well you want to do your villain. And this is not a per se criticism, because if we're going to be honest, Star Trek, and honestly most genre, don't do great on villains. It's like, oh, they're just bad because they're bad, and ha ha ha. I mean, and that's just, so I don't blame them per se. But like this sort of like, here's a kernel of a legitimate thing. It's like a Killmonger in Black Panther or something. Like here's a kernel of a legitimate reason why this person has this drive, which is what you want in a villain. But then it's sort of like, and because I have this legit, all of the Federation must, okay. I mean, like, can you make it more personal? Because that would be better. Like we said, like, I want to get, all the scientists or all of the Starfleet intelligence, make it like a little more smaller that you can see the legitimate circle. Otherwise, you're just a terrorist. I mean, okay.
But there also is what it's called, like the changelings' overall philosophy of don't trust the solids. The solids will always go after you. And I mean, they kind of do, but like, that's already kind of baked into changeling, like
ideology.
Ideology. That's right.
Yeah. But then why is it so Federation focused? I mean, they should be against Klingons and Romulans, and
they are the ones who made the virus. Like,
I'm
already headcaning what we've just said. That is the new reason that they know super soldiers and they experimented on them to make the virus, which they hate. And because of it, they can't ever rejoin the link. And because honestly, that gives a lot of motivation.
Like the experiments, changed them, and then maybe like you see like the however many there were, 6 test tubes or however 8,
6,
yeah. But
although are they individuals? So does 6 even mean anything?
But maybe they combine and then they form, not to turn into Power Rangers, but maybe they combine and like even though they're all damaged now combined, they create this new thing. Well, and that's where they got all these powers.
I have a question about that too.
Yeah, why there's so many?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure we've killed more than 6 changelings in the last several episodes.
There apparently appear to be like 150. I don't know.
So, okay. So I think I know. She says that...
Are they like slightly shorter than all the other people?
You notice you just saw Tuvok from the waist up.
A little bit less volume goes a long way, guys. They're hollow. They're like a shell.
So she says that new changelings can join, but they die, right? So they get 100-year lifespan.
That's right. They can give them the special powers.
But they get the special abilities.
The non Well, it's really just non-detectability is what the power
Pretty
is.
much, yeah. Mhm.
And they look like meat instead of goo.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I
So-
think I messed up.
That's right.
Yeah,
But
it does
again,
seem like people have joined, or changelings have joined.
which
but
maybe, but it's still weird
Why?
because
Yeah.
I get I've always been under the impression that once the war ended, the changelings are like, we're never leaving our planet again.
Yeah.
We're never leaving the Gamma Quadrant. Why would we?
yeah, I don't
Or
know.
would
either.
we? Or why would we ever allow changelings into the Alpha Quadrant? Like, but
Because I mean, this goes into the deepness of the Great Link, but and Daniel, you're more into it than I am as far as DSN right now. But like once Odo in the last episode, Great Linked, I mean, presumably there was a change in ideology. I'm not saying they changed 100% their ways, but like Odo's
a collective agreement to end the war.
it was already there. But also, like, I mean, Odo's Nis went into the Great Link, and so
Right.
on the we hate solids scale, they maybe moved one or two bumps to the other direction. Which I'm not saying cured everything, but it's also like I don't know.
I mean, I would get the sense too that there would be resentment, of course, because of the disease.
Can they
and the
have
war.
resentment? I guess is my question. How can there be
Yeah,
individual
sure.
thought? Not the test tubes, because those were separate.
Right,
But any new people, where does that? How do you be an individual?
I do think that the rest of the changelings, the canon changeling home planet,
Right.
after the end of Deep Space Nine, probably agreed all to be just to stay away. Like, no more. We're not going to entangle ourselves with these people any further. That's what I think. And maybe you could say, oh well, how long does that last
Yeah.
for? Or,
Well, which also
which is
makes sense
legitimate.
because even though Odo saved them, like they're deciding not to fight with the people that also have a virus to kill them that could probably just make another version. Like it behooves them to end because really the peace offering got them to the table, but the virus, like they were already done. Like they had already lost, really.
So the other piece of this that really makes me rage and I hate every
Is this
single
Jack?
aspect is Jack Crusher. Oh my god, do I hate Jack Crusher so much? By the way, he's now a telepath and can do body control of some. I hate everything about this. It's so stupid to me. What is going on here, and why do they need Jack Crusher specifically? The Picard thinks they want him and his son's blood to create an exact carbon copy.
A genetic copy, yeah.
But they don't need that anymore. Their changelings are invincible to all of these tests. Why can't they just changeling there? I don't know. So,
I don't
so
know.
what
It
do we
just
think
seems
is
like
going-
I mean, again, we don't know the answer. They're speculating in the episode, and which made me not.
Yeah, I don't think that's the full answer.
yeah,
But
I'm sure
the
it's-
speculation that Jean-Luc Picard's being at the Federation, that's not what it's called, Frontier Day ceremony. If we have our guy there, our fake
Right.
person there,
What's he gonna say? Is he gonna
then we
blow
could
up,
blow
or
up
is
the
he-
whole world
or something? I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, they suggested in the episode that he was misdiagnosed, and that whatever he's carrying.
No, I don't like.
I know. I hate
Yeah.
every aspect of this.
Is
I
it
hate.
Ironic syndrome? It's something else.
It's something else. Like he was like inhabited by a changeling when he was a boy or something.
I don't know. That's kind of what
Yeah,
they're implying,
his-
but it's weird.
Daniel, his mom was a changeling.
My mind went to that too. I'm like,
Or his dad was. I
they
don't
did it
know.
in Deep Space Nine. They better not do it here, man. No, I really just I hate what they're implying. And maybe it's just a red herring, but I just hate having that question every single episode. It bothers me.
Story wise, okay, this was episode 7. We got 3 left. This is the time that
And the last 2 will be a 2-part.
You put your cards down and you say, "This is literally what's happening now." Confirmed that like Vadic gave a million speeches in this episode.
Exposition dump.
This should have been the speech of this is literally my plan because now you have 3 episodes to try to counter it and you know what the stakes are. We still don't know what the plan is. And I get that that's a narrative choice in the I mean, it's a very Star Trek mystery choice because that's what they love doing of the burn and Spock's shuttle and everything. Like we can't actually tell you until the very end. And I think we're all kind of done with that type of storytelling, but
Yeah. Because again, I mean, or a way to do that, because Prodigy did do this, by the way, and I'm not saying you don't know this. I don't know who I'm talking to when I say this. But anyway, Prodigy did do this, but they did it good because they always answered a question and then asked a question.
Yeah.
And so, like,
we
Chakotay,
still haven't answered the main question.
Where the ship come from, but then they always
Right.
kind of give you an answer. Of course, it's only 20 minutes long, so you're not just, it doesn't feel stretched.
And
unless they take a
each of
huge
those-
mid-hiatus break. But
Each of those episodes is an adventure, right?
That is true. I think
Where
that is the big
this is
difference.
like all focused on this the entire time, anyways, and
Yeah.
there's no relief. There's no relief.
Every episode in Picard has to move the main plot forward because it's not talking about anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, this episode, and again, no one's paying me to write stories. This episode, though, doesn't have a story structure. I mean, there's no rising. I mean, you don't have to do it this way, I guess, but there's no rising action, climax, falling action, because it's just sort of like. And this was my thought during watching the episode. What is it, a third of the way through, Picard's like, oh, I have an idea. And what struck me was not like, this is going to work. What struck me was like, uh-oh. No, there has been, in the series of Picard, especially season 3, none of our classic characters have been like, here's the idea to save the day. And A, they don't have those ideas.
And it has worked.
And 2, they never work. And so when Picard's like, I have an idea, I'm like, is this actually going to be a regular TNG episode where they have thought about it and it worked? No, the plan lasts 5 seconds, if even that.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to pretend to be dead. They'll come aboard. We'll capture them. What if they get loose? Question mark, profit. I don't, so it's like, okay.
Question mark, profit?
Beverly's all like, we came on board. We invited death. Yeah, it was your idea. It's your idea, guys.
Yeah.
So, okay, real quick though, I just want to focus. Because Vadic also suggests that Jack is not Beverly's son, or at least he's weirdly. She says, "Where did you get him?" or whatever she says.
Yeah, it's
And I'm like,
weird.
When I said I
don't
was
understand
pregnant,
it.
Jean-Luc, what I meant was a baby arrived on the sick babe front door.
Miraculous. The store, the change.
The card on it said, "This is
came
from
down.
Picard."
Yeah.
So I figured it was your baby.
Okay, so whatever. I hate the Jack stuff, and then of course at the end, Vadic is like, "Where's Jack? Let's find out who you really are." So I guess next episode.
Tune in next episode, kids. Wink, and then the credits roll.
Yeah.
That's not much.
So that's so terribly frustrating. But okay, the other piece of this episode that we could talk about is the Data and Geordi lore stuff, which
It was pretty good.
it was okay. I don't understand why lore is he working with the changelings. Like,
How does he know about them?
How's he in contact with them?
So, I mean, Lore is plugged. I mean, he's plugged into the computer.
Right.
That's
true.
what I think. That's where
I need
he's
a
getting
line
his
then.
info.
I need a line that says, "I've reviewed your ship's logs."
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: like the Data lore stuff is completely independent from the changing stuff. It is there's no Shinzon actually
them.
planted. Yeah, because
he didn't
he's
care
evil.
who it was. Could have been anyone.
He did not care.
Yeah, that's lazy. That's easy and lazy. But he also is. He was if he was actually talking about survival, they would have just as soon killed Lore. I would assume. Although they're not interested in him, he's still a solid. So.
I mean, I suppose circuitry is solid. Yes. Yeah.
Am I? He plays the "I'm not alive" defense, and they're like, okay.
But wait a minute. We've looked up these trial records, and
take back. I don't care about it.
Well, see, this is my thing about that Data lore part. I feel like it could have been more powerful, but it was just very simplistic. Oh, Lore's taken over. Geordi will be like, "Remember, I'm your friend," and then it works. Data's back. I'm like, guys, you got to earn it. Like, you could have done that. This is how you could have done it, where Geordi has to follow a path of admitting things. So in other words, like, there's Lore, and then like his daughter, I forget her name for a second, Lieutenant daughter, is like,
I thought you meant Lau. I'm like, it's Lau. Lau's his daughter.
I've studied his circuitry.
Sydney.
No, the other one.
Oh, Alana,
I think.
something like that.
But anyway, she's like, I've been studying circuitry. This is me on the fly, so you could write it better. But I studied circuitry, and if you help access, this emotion, or access this, and so Geordi kind of has to ramp up the emotional appeal, and so it doesn't just like 100%. Oh, Daddy, you were my friend, and then you start crying. Geordi starts a little bit.
We
with,
should
like,
get some
remember that
flashback
time?
shots, just like we did the Farpoint, where we see Data and Geordi in high res. Oh, that'd be amazing.
It's actually what's that horrible episode in season 2? Last episode.
Oh, Shade of Grey.
Oh, Shades of Grey.
Shades of Grey with Data, and so because Geordi is having to sort of slowly access
Shades
Data.
of Day with Greta.
And so you get like, Data will come back for 2 seconds, but then we're like, oh, that's not enough. And then Geordi finally, the climax is kind of what he does. I've never, but then again, I think you have to establish earlier, because I guess my problem with Geordi's speech is it's good, but it's not earned. It's like, when you left, I was this way, but when you came back, what do you mean you came back? What, like yesterday? Like you've changed your life in a day? Like I didn't understand that part, not to make fun of it, because it was very powerful, but I'm like, when you died, this had my effect. And we've kind of seen Geordi has been maybe not the adventurer we'd like, but if you could, you have to have the daughter then saying, oh, you da-da-da-da. And then Geordi's like, oh, but when I saw you, Data, now's the chance to say goodbye, and then we get a bigger speech. But it just like wasn't earned. It's just like Laura's in charge, and then Geordi cries, Data's back. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so a shot from like Nemesis where he says goodbye to Geordi and then jumps through the wall, or other moments on TNG. Like I love that moment with Riker in the previous episode. Like, so do something similar.
Commodore LaForge pulls out the pipe. One Adventure Holmes.
I kept this on my person every day, hoping you would return to us.
I like that. I do think it was powerful, and it kind of worked, but I do think that it wasn't given enough room to breathe as well. And it's like if maybe they had established something earlier or whatever, it would just work better. I do like that they're addressing it. I do like that we're seeing a Data Geordi sort of emotional sort of you died, right? Like admission and all of that. But I agree. I wish they'd give it a little bit more. You know what? Less Jack. Just take Jack out of the episode, and then you can just have as much Geordi and Data.
No, we have to get him flirting with Sydney, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I just don't. I felt like it needed more. Alana, tell him your middle name, Spot. That's how much I miss you, Data. This is what I was thinking about. And again, it's one of those, if you think about it, because Geordi's like, you made me a better father. Right. So Data made you be an ass to your kids? Because that's what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing about Data too, I just wanted to touch on was, I almost made me laugh, was in the sick bay, I guess is what it is. When the first time Picard addresses Data, he's like, we can't do this. Data, like last year, asked me to kill him again, and like in peace, and here he is again. We can't do this. And then whoever it was just comes over and talks to him, and he's like, it was Geordi. And Geordi goes, I don't want Data to die again. And Picard's like, no, you're right. Me neither. Let's revive him again. I'm like, geez, this poor being just is it's like he's in purgatory. He just can't find a way to go. But anyways,
it's like RoboCop 2. He like wakes up and like shoots himself in the head as soon as he comes conscious. It's like, no, not again. Life is pain.
I mean, I hope for the Brent, because that's what I think agreed to call him, for the Brent android, I hope next episode, because there's only, like you said, only 3 left. I don't want Data back because he has died twice. Not to be, I suppose maybe Spock did too. Anyway, but like meld the personalities so it's a new person, and that's fine, and that's an interesting thing. Data still lives on, in spirit, but like I hope that's how they solve it next episode.
I think that's kind of where they're going. I think we had to spend so much time with Jack this episode, but
definitely had to do that.
Had to.
And Daniel, I know you've asked this, and I sort of like hand wave because I don't care, but like now I really am curious. Who are these henchmen of Vadic?
They're changelings. They are changelings. They? Yes, it happened in this episode. God, I can't remember. Something happens, and one of them oozes and goos, but I don't know why.
That they're all hoodie.
Yeah, why are they wearing this stuff? Like those weird costumes and stuff.
That's weird.
I always got the impression, you may be right. I can't remember if one gooed, but probably so. I always got the impression that they were like humans or humanoids that like purposely chose to be infected by changeling whatever. So they're kind of like, think of like henchmen who are like, oh, the master has smiled on me and give me some of their
like
ability.
Dracula.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
And the other thing, this is fine. This happens in all of fiction.
Fine.
But wow, is everybody a terrible shot on this ship? My goodness.
What are they, stormtroopers?
They're like stormtroopers. They literally lead them down a corridor into a trap, and they miss every single shot, and they don't hit a single changeling. But that's fine. Whatever. I get it. I get it.
And just from an overall vibe, and I know I'm just complaining about Picard, but an overall vibe of this whole series, again, so we're 7 episodes in. To me, there's not a discernible change in tone, because since episode 2, 3, not constant, but it's always been bad guy is winning. Now, there was at last episode or 2 episodes ago where they finally kind of escaped and won. Maybe it was episode 5 or 6 where they won. They left the nebula. That was like, oh, we finally won. But every other episode, the bad guy's been winning. And it's like, can you take your foot off the bad guy gas? Because it's like in this episode, for 10 seconds, oh, we have a plan. And then no, you don't. And then they win. And now they have the bridge. And now they have the Titan. It's like, there's no glimmer of hope. And I'm not even talking about like ideology and an optimistic future. Just like hope at all. Like, our characters are going to win. No, they just get slapped around every single episode.
Did you see Captain Shaw? He literally was on the ground.
I thought he was going to die.
Bleeding. I don't know why they didn't kill him. It's fine.
I don't know why they didn't kill everyone. I mean, she's won. She just kill everyone on the bridge. Boom. I won.
She also declares herself captain of the Titan, which I thought was super bizarre. Like, why does she like?
That's what she wants the entire time. All this changeling stuff doesn't even matter. She wants to be captain of the Titan.
It's like, why first of all, that's not like a thing. You can't just, but okay, fine.
But I did. I just did. I said I became the captain, and no one's denying it. So guess what? I'm the captain.
I get this, and this is, I'm going to be in a minority, maybe not of y'all, but of the fandom, that I know what the voices will say. Oh, Amanda Plummer, just like her father, is playing a melodramatic villain. And that's, isn't that cool? I'm like, but it's not.
I thought you meant voices like the face. I'm like, is that the voices? Yeah. I'm like, what is the voices going to say?
But like a melodramatic changeling, I mean, I don't think they're not a melodramatic people. Like, a Klingon, I can get.
Well, look,
works,
they injected a syringe of melancholy into them.
Yeah, because that's just like, I suppose I should just not think about it. They
disturb the changeling humors, the four balance.
She starts quoting Shakespeare and symphonies, and
Oh man, if she starts quoting Shakespeare, we got problems.
She has to do it once. Once.
Yeah, she does.
I don't know, man.
If you prick me, do I not? Ooze.
Drip. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else in this episode we want to touch on? I liked the bit where Beverly came in and she was the first one to talk to the Vadic. And she was getting a little mother henny, which, makes sense.
Ethically questionable.
Yeah.
See, I liked it. And then, if I'm going to criticize, I have to have an alternative, and I don't really have one. But this whole, like, when Beverly's like, I have a moral quandary, I'm like, I suddenly got shades of TNG. I'm back into TNG. Beverly has, and look, she doesn't make a meal out of it. She just says, well, on one hand, on the other hand, biological weapon, and then I don't know, they're after Jack. And you're like, okay, that's what Dr. Crusher would do. And then, like, 15 minutes later, Jean-Luc and Beverly are like, yeah, they're just around. Do you ever give a crap about rules? No. Do you ever crap? No. All right. I'm like, well, okay, guys. I mean, you can't. The way I would suggest you write that is one of them has to have a problem. Right. And that's how you create conflict.
And she even says it. She's like, oh, here comes the good cop for the bad cop. And it's like she sees right through whatever you're doing right now.
But
also in that scene, too, when the force fields fall, and 2 of them are already aiming their phasers at Vadic, she just oozes away. It's like, what are you people doing? Only Jack. Jack is the only one that has any kills because he's got his thing on vaporize. Why aren't you all turning your things on vaporize, man? Just doesn't make any sense. But Anyways.
Again, best phasers in all time, 2009. They're standing there. They're like, it's time to cross the moral line. Red instead of blue.
I mean, if it was a sustained beam, you might hit them, is all I'm saying. One little shot. That's how you miss.
Or what is it? When they're sweeping for changelings, they use the wide beams. Why don't you put it on the wide beam setting? Like, you can't miss. You cannot miss.
Darren, do you know what the episode for next week is called?
It's called Surrender.
Oh, good. All right.
I mean, I thought they already did, but okay.
Yeah.
Things are looking up.
Even more surrendering is going on.
Wait, you can't surrender your ship. You already don't have possession of it.
Yeah,
so
it's like pull over. He's already pulled over. He can't pull over anymore.
It's got to be Jack, I guess. Jack.
Yeah, it's got to be.
He kind of went into that today, or this episode, when he talks to Picard, and he's like, they finally have the conversation where he's like, hey, people should stop dying for me.
Yeah, and that's
so I guess that's probably what happens.
And Picard's like, or. And he's like, no or. No more crazy plans.
I don't know. I mean, and I know we've talked about this last time. I'm like, because the action is so much, there maybe isn't time. Well, there was when Picard had the brilliant plan and they had to take time to do that. But where it was like, Jack's had telepath now. Why does he go to his mom directly every time and say, hey, Mom, by the way, something weird going on? But it's like, I'll keep it to myself. That'll
my eyes turned red again, Mom. Remember how my eyes used to turn red when I was a baby, and now they're turning red again, and all there's voices in my head, and I have the Force. Oh man. Anyways, well, we'll be back.
I'm sure all the answers will be revealed,
or at least the big
9.
ones,
or
hopefully.
Episode 8.
Real quick, let's just touch on.
They won't be real till episode 9.
Oh yes.
Let's just touch on, since by Philip's request, there was a new Star Trek show announced, guys.
Section 30. Oh,
Nope. Ooh.
Section 32. Cleaning up Section 31's mistakes.
Oh, see, I'd love it. It'd be like Second Contact, Lower Decks.
Yeah.
No, they announced a Star Trek : Starfleet Academy. Which is great, right? We've been talking about this for years. I was like, this sounds awesome. I really hope this is like,
Did we all have the same reaction?
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it. You're like,
I was
wait,
excited, and then I read more.
You're like, Starfleet Academy. You're like, okay, I don't know. We have enough shit. I'm not saying how you thought, maybe. Like, yeah, we have enough shows, but I guess some are going off the air. So this is the next choice. All right, Starfleet Academy. This is what we always, not that we always wanted, but always been talking about. Okay. All right, man, where would they even go? Is it 2030? Oh, God, the possibilities are endless. And then, Darren, what do you read?
100 years. Starfleet finally opens up its doors after a century of being closed. Ergo, we're in the 32nd century.
Yeah.
Discovery.
And all
Tilly
of the
spin-off
air.
series.
So we get the Earth that's been cut off from everybody is finally opening up their doors again. And all my caring just kind of flew out the window.
Yeah. Of course, we'll check it out.
I mean, it also does kind of make sense if Discovery is wrapping up that this is what they're replacing it with in this era. Like, I could see the logic in that, but
I mean, how many? I mean, maybe we are just walled off here because the three of us are not fans. But like, is there a big cry for more of that?
I think I heard there was an episode where Tilly was like leading around cadets.
I forget y'all haven't seen it. Yes, because she left the series. I mean, the character, as you may or may not remember. And then I know. Yeah, I think she was made lieutenant. Don't quote me on that. And then she joined Starfleet Academy. And there was an episode where she was taking out her first batch of cadets, and there was a little,
I kind of remember.
They hate each other.
They're on a shuttle.
They learn to work together.
It's all bad. Yeah.
One of those things. But yeah. So I mean, they haven't said Tilly, but that's just obviously what we're thinking.
Yeah,
because it makes sense of like, why is a major character of a series voluntarily leaving in the final season? Maybe because it was like, hey, I want to sign on to a new series.
Interesting.
Well, and I think I also read that Tom Newsom is on the writing staff, which is cool.
I saw that. Yeah.
Mariner. Yeah.
Interesting.
Not quite enough to spark the interest, but cool.
I guess we'll see what happens when the trailers come out. And
I mean,
in a world bleak and lifeless, Starfleet Academy rises to do good.
I mean, I'm trying here. The positives are it's a blank sheet. you can do completely what you want. It's
not blank though. It's a blank sheet that is in the 32nd century.
Right, but there's no, it can be all new characters. There's no, we don't even know if Tilly's in it. We're just assuming. And then all new species, and I don't know. That's all.
I mean, I guess I keep thinking of, I think of the episode in Strange New Worlds with Uhura. And how she's kind of new, she's a cadet, and she's not quite confident yet, and she's learning about what it takes to be. That whole episode, if it was that is what I expect from a Starfleet Academy show, is like learning what it is to be Starfleet. And I don't understand the 32nd century Federation. Like it doesn't make sense.
It's nascent.
To me.
It's almost born again, which I guess is the
point
spin of being positive, but also there's no ingrained ideology of like I'm signing up to be Starfleet. Why? I don't know.
But it's also then it's
Did you hear about Starfleet? They're back. Oh, okay, sure.
But then at that point, it's also like why do it? Like why? I mean, unless you're trying to do something different than Star Trek.
Weird because it's like okay, so you're on Earth for some reason because Earth hated.
Maybe it's not on Earth. We're assuming, right?
I'm assuming. Like
I mean, no, it said in that little blurb.
I think it did. Yeah, it was reopening its campus after 100 years of whatever. But still, okay. So you have
blow off the Golden Gate Bridge.
So you have the new group coming in, and Tilly's all explaining. I mean, maybe Tilly's the right person because she remembers a time when the Federation of Starfleet was positive and good, so she can inject those.
The 23rd century, they're still working things out.
I mean, more so, but
no, I'm kidding.
But it's like, hey, you're going to be part of the new, the new generation of Starfleet as we're going to grow our ranks again, and it's kind of like everyone who's been living through the burn in this time, like, are they going to care? Again, I know they will, and that's obviously the part of the plot, but it seems weird.
Do they have to pass calculus? Is that?
Do they have the Kobayashi Maru, which we can't use as an episode title now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They just need to find their right Mr. Feeney, and maybe it'll work.
And it'll be interesting because I always, the Academy has always been talked about. And it'll be interesting how you dramatize it. In other words,
right.
You're on camp. Well, I mean, you can't do a field assignment every day. I mean, you can. I mean, I'm saying you can have a drama set in the Academy, and that's the only place you are. But it is going to be a different show. You don't. I mean, God, please. You don't save the universe when you're at Starfleet Academy. Please.
Guess what? Spoilers.
God, no.
Yeah.
We have a mystery.
The second burn is coming. It's going to be the first teaser.
Does this turn into Star Trek Harry Potter like every year? We have to solve the mystery.
Hey, no, at least Harry Potter built, like, from the first book all the way through, it builds that sort of threat. It doesn't start with like, oh my God, everything is exploding, So. Anyways, more on that in the future. I'm sure we will be as tepid as we are now, but we will.
It'll be our favorite series. Don't worry.
But anyways, Philip, if people wanted to get a hold of you and find out what classes you're taking this semester, how do they find you?
Ironically, I've taken my last class. They can find me at NC Public Servant for all my PhD work.
And Darren, if they want to talk to you about their upcoming science project, how would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can find me at drsci-fi.com, DRSCIFI.
And if people want to find me, I'm One Up Dan. That's the number one, not the word. And we'll catch everybody next week. I'm Daniel Prue.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
And I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here on SETI Alpha 3.
Come!